Guten Morgen und herzlich willkommen, liebe Presskolleginnen, liebe Partner, liebes Team. Good morning and warm welcome, dear colleagues from the press, our partners and our team. Ich bin Trisha Tuttle, die neue Intendantin der Berlinale, und ich freue mich, euch kennenzulernen. We thank our German colleagues for understanding that today's press conference will be in English, not only for all of our guests who are tuning in from outside of Germany, but also for my German as I work on your language. So thank you very much. This has been a great first year as I settle into this incredible city and I see more clearly all of the ways that Berlin has shaped the Berlinale. This is a major A-list festival with a thriving market, but we're also a major audience festival, one of the biggest in the world, with a huge and thriving market. And we're in a city that's steeped in history, and it's a meeting point for cultures all over the world. As Berlin does itself, we embrace the millions of stories and the different takes on the world that our filmmakers, our guests from more than 150 countries, and our audiences bring to this major international event. In our 75th year, we reflect on how the festival's past remains very relevant to our present, not only in filmmakers who return to the festival again and again, as with alumni filmmaker Tom Tykwer, who is opening the festival this year, Tilda Swinton, who's our honorary Golden Bear winner and has been to the festival, her films have been to the festival 26 times, but also Todd Haynes, our jury president this year. And the past is also in the foundations of the festival. The Berlinale was set up in 1951 to provide a space for the world to come together around cinema and to enable Germans to experience and connect with other cultures. And the importance of these founding principles feels just as urgent now, when in countries all over the world, people are looking inward. Cinema does help us connect with and understand each other. One of cinema's great pleasures is that it helps us, and also a gift, is that it helps us see the world through other people's eyes. And in the next weeks, festival goers are going to encounter incredible worlds that our filmmakers are inviting us to see. There are films that exalt human ingenuity, even as they marvel at how frequently we fail to harness that power for good. And there are films that note our tribalism, but also many, many films that speak about the fact that wider communities and different human connections give the world meaning for us. There definitely are warnings and there are calls to action, but there are also love stories and comedies and offerings of hope and magic and wonder. People often ask me, the press often asks me if we're a political festival, and we cannot and we do not shy away from this. It's arguably in the DNA of the city itself, and also in the festival itself. But it's fair to say that the Berlinale is many things. And for all festivals and all culture right now, the news agenda can often dominate the discourse. But we really hope and we believe that the films that audiences are going to see over the weeks of the festival are going to get people talking about the vibrancy of the art form itself, and the films themselves. Independent cinema exhibition is showing green shoots of recovery, and all of us are part of this. Festivals play a really big role in ensuring that audience anticipation for bold new cinema is really high. So our festival is also a bustling market, as you know, the European film market, and we have our Berlinale Pro initiatives. These have an important role in supporting the industry and ensuring a thriving future for cinema. And on that note, this year we're really eager to meet the Berlinale talents and also the filmmakers of Perspectives, which is our new competition for international first fiction features. Both of these programs foreground filmmakers who are the bright futures of cinema. Our heartfelt thanks go to the Minister of State for Culture and the Media, Claudia, and the governing mayor of Berlin, Kai Wegner, for their support of the festival. We also extend our special thanks to our official partners, their financial contribution, but also their passionate commitment to helping make the Berlinale great, allows us to deliver the Berlinale we know and we love. As a new principal partner, Cupra will provide the Berlinale's car fleet, of course, for 2025, but Cupra is also a partner of Berlinale Shorts, and this year they are initiating the Berlinale Shorts Cupra Filmmaker Award together with our short film section. The new award is endowed with €20,000 and it goes to a Berlinale short director with an unconventional voice and a visual language. Armani Beauty will continue to provide flawless looks on the red carpet, and our long-standing partner, MasterCard, will support the festival's anniversary edition as a principal partner for the first time. Staropramen extends its commitment and becomes a new co-partner of the festival alongside Campari and Potsdamer Platz. And media partners RBB and ZDF complete the level of co-partners with their renewed commitment. Please, would you join me in thanking all of these partners? Thank you. And now we get to start talking about films. I'd love to welcome to the stage our co-directors of film programming, Jacqueline Lianga and Michael Stutz. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. The three of us have worked really closely over the months with our programming teams, and in particular, we wanted to thank our very talented selection committee who helped us put together the selections that you're going to hear more about today, our competition, Berlinale Special, and the Perspectives lineup. So thanks so much to Mathilde Onro, to Jessica Kiang, to Jacqueline Insaya, and Elad Samorzik. You've been amazing to work with, so thank you. Yes. I'm also really, really pleased that we have our section heads with us today of Generation, Shorts, Forum Expanded, Retrospective, and of course Panorama, which Mikhail also heads. So all of these colleagues have put together absolutely gorgeous programs, and they're going to be around later if you want to ask them questions, quiz them about their programs. It's been such a privilege to work with all these colleagues, so thank you all. And finally, I want to mention our heads of Berlinale Pro, including the European film market. And thank you so much to Tanya Meisner, who stepped into the role as not only director of the European film market, but overseeing the consortium of events that make up Berlinale Pro, which are the Talents World Cinema Fund and the co-production market. All of these heads are also with us here today and happy to speak to you afterwards about the programs. So, before we reveal the films in the program, we want to give you a few statistics.
Yes, very briefly before we start. Our gender statistics, 41% of the films were directed by female-identified directors or co-directors, and 4% were directors who identified as non-binary. And across the entire program, we have 74 production countries involved.
And we love welcoming new filmmakers to the Berlinale and discovering new talent. But it's also a pleasure to welcome many alumni across the program. Anne Mouliart in Berlinale Special, Ira Sachs and Isaac Julian in Panorama, Michel Gondry in Generation, Caroline Poggi and Jonathan Vinell in Berlinale Shorts, Vitaly Mansky in Forum, and Kevin Jerome Eberson in Forum Expanded, and many more. And we'll reveal more as we announce the rest of Berlinale Special and competition.
Amazing. Now for our program announcements. So we start with Berlinale Special, and today we announce 4 additional new galas for a special.
All right, and I kick it off. Actors Lee Pace, Rupert Friend, Gwendolyn Christie, and Mia Maestro star in Lucio Castro's enigmatic After This Death. The follow-up to Castro's critically acclaimed The End of the Century. Here he explores desire, celebrity, and the cult of personality with a great deal of wit and style.
The great James Mangold takes on Bob Dylan's early years in the captivating A Complete Unknown. Timothée Chalamet has already been deservedly feted for his portrayal of the iconic musician, and it is our pleasure to host the film's German premiere.
Swiss-Italian writer-director Petra Volpe returns to the Berlinale with Helden, Late Shift. This powerful, realist thriller stars Liane Benish as a healthcare worker pushed to the brink by a healthcare system under extreme pressure.
Lurker. Director Alex Russell honed his skills as a writer on Beef and The Bear. And here, the debut director turns a scalpel-like lens onto the culture around online celebrity and social media. The film, which features rising star Archie Madekwe, screens as a gala presented as part of our youth-focused generation programming.
The five final films, I beg your pardon, that join our diverse Berlinale Special lineup this year are
Das Deutsche Volk, directed by Martin Wierzchowski, is an urgent documentary that revisits the deadly 2020 Hana racist attacks from the perspective of the bereaved relatives and survivors, with interviews filmed over 4 years as they struggle with grief, recognition, and a sense of belonging. The next is none other than Burhan Kobani, a director we know very well here in Berlin. He retells the story of Richard III with immense style and blistering anger in Kein Tier so wild, No Beast so fierce. And what is certain to be a festival talking point, a riveting Kenda Hamaidan in the lead takes the center stage as Rashida, the youngest daughter in one of the two warring families. No Beast so fierce also stars acclaimed Palestinian, Israeli, and French actress Hiam Abbas.
Heimat director Edgar Reitz, the Berlinale recipient of the camera in 2024, returns with Leibniz, Chronicle of a Lost Painting, which is co-directed with Anatol Schuster. This highly literate latest from a filmmaker now in his 9th decade features Edgar Selga, Lars Eidinger, Barbara Sukova, and it's produced by Oscar-nominated Ingo Fliess.
A Letter to David is a tender and deeply personal lament from Israeli filmmaker Tom Shoval, as he contemplates the unthinkable fact that his friend David Cuneo was taken hostage by Hamas on October 7th and is still being held in Gaza. Shoval reflects on the tragic resonance of youth, a film they made together a decade ago, which premiered in the Panorama section of the Berlinale.
My Undesirable Friends, Part 1, Last Air in Moscow, documents what Soviet-born American filmmaker Julia Loktev discovered in 2021 in Moscow while making a film about journalists who were declared foreign agents by Putin's regime. At over 5 hours, Loktev's immersive film captures the moments when the young protagonists are forced to make the devastating choice to leave their country behind.
Perspectives is our brand new competition dedicated to first fiction features. There are 14 films competing for a €50,000 award endowed by GVFF, and the competition this year features 12 world premieres and 2 international premieres. Co-directors Tanushree Das and Somayan Desahi deliver the impressive social realist Shadow Box, Baksho Bandi. The duo's thoughtfully and beautifully shot Kolkata set film examines a couple trying to cope against a backdrop of mental health issues whilst being heavily stigmatized by their community. Producers include Oscar-nominated director Shanak Sen.
Director Khalil Joseph conceived Black News, Terms and Conditions, as a cinematic experience that recreates the sonic textures of a music album. Already established in the world of fine art and music video, Joseph here takes us on an immersive 247-year journey into the collective memories of Black people in this multi-layered hybrid narrative.
Italian-based Filipino artist and filmmaker Lyric de la Cruz delivers the striking monochrome Com la Notte, Where the Night Stands Still. When 3 Filipino siblings, who are all domestic workers in Italy, meet in the villa that one of the sisters has inherited, buried grievances come to the surface and put their fragile relationship to the test. De la Cruz is also a former Berlinale talent.
Mexican filmmaker Ernesto Martinez Bucio delivers on the promise of his short films with El Diablo Fuma, The Devil Smokes. The former Berlinale talent creates a cinematic dream language that blurs the line between the real and the unreal in the story of 5 children living alone with a grandmother struggling with mental illness.
2 Times João Liberada is the debut of Portuguese filmmaker Paula Tomás Marques. In a film within a film, a transgender actor takes on the leading role in a low-budget biopic about gender non-conforming Liberada, a historical figure who was persecuted during the Inquisition. Playfully blurring fact and fiction, the film suggests that personal histories say as much about who is recording them as they do about the subject.
Taiwanese artist Chu Chun Teng introduces beguiling elements of magical realisms into Eel, the story of a young man living on an isolated island who is visited by a mysterious woman. A film with vivid and succulent aesthetics, Il was shot by acclaimed Vietnamese cinematographer Nguyen Vinh Phuc.
Growing Down is an incisive and precise debut from Balint Daniel Schoch. The film examines the moral dilemma facing a father when he witnesses an accident involving his son. Hungarian actor and director Szabolcs Hajdu brings a compelling dark gravitas to the role of the father.
When a young woman returns to her parents' home after a breakdown, she discovers she's not the only one on the edge. There's an appealing fluidity to Florian Pochletko's How to Be Normal in the Oddness of the Other World, and the director deftly balances absurdity and sensitivity, marking him as an exciting new voice in Austrian cinema.
Following award-winning short films, Slovenian director Urška Dukic joins the Berlinale with Little Trouble Girls. This highly assured and atmospheric debut is set during a weekend of choir rehearsals, with erupting tensions and secrets leading an introverted teenager to view the world from a new perspective.
Director Joel Alfonso Vargas explores textures from his Dominican American upbringing in Mad Bills to Pay. The film is beautifully shot with long takes, and Vargas directs his actors, who were cast on the streets of the Bronx, in an emotionally potent story of a teenager's life and home life that's transformed when his girlfriend becomes pregnant.
The German debut Mit der Faust in die Welt schlagen explores the lives of two brothers growing up in East Germany, scarred by their family's history. Director Constanze Klau, who previously won the Max Ophüls Prize for her mid-length graduation films, shows that the past is still a burden and a threat for many people.
Almostamera, The Settlement, shines a spotlight on labor laws and young workers in a story about two brothers forced to work when their father dies in a factory accident. In his fiction debut, Egyptian director Mohamed Rashad imbues textual significance into the film's rich color palette.
Arnaud Dufay and Charlotte Devier, formerly taught and inventive On vous croit, We Believe You, takes place in near real time in a family court. As a mother and her children visit the court, they must face their fears and battle being misunderstood, perhaps willfully so. Actress Valentine Cadic makes her directorial debut with Le Rendez-vous de l'été, That Summer in Paris. This film of gentle comedy, soul-searching, and freewheeling charm sees protagonist Blandine travel to Paris for the Summer Olympics to watch the swimming competitions, meet an estranged sister, and navigate her way through the heart of a bustling city completely dominated by this extraordinary event.
And now we arrive at official competition, which is the centerpiece of the Berlinale, where we award the best international films, golden and silver bears. So let's begin. For her third feature, Ari, French director Léonore Sarai offers a delicately poised and humane study of a young man at a crossroads of his life. Andronique Manet is a revelation in the title role, offering a heady mix of vulnerability and also great depth.
For the first time since his 2014 Silver Bear-winning Boyhood, director Richard Linklater returns to the Berlinale competition with Blue Moon, a profile of composer Lawrence Hart. Working with an all-star cast, including Ethan Hawke and Margaret Qualley, and from a sharp script from Robert Kaplow, the film is set on the opening night of the musical Oklahoma, Richard Rodgers' first collaboration with Oscar Hammerstein, who would become Hart's replacement as Rodgers' writing partner.
Swiss writer-director Lionel Baer brings great wit and style to his comedy La Cache, The Safe House. As the student protests erupt in May 1968, 3 generations of an eccentric Parisian family find themselves thrown together, much to the delight of a 9-year-old boy at the heart of it. Michel Blanc makes his final film appearance as the family patriarch.
Mexican auteur Michel Franco reunites with Jessica Chastain for Dreams, a razor-sharp examination of the ways that power and privilege can corrupt. Chastain is blistering as an heiress who falls in love with a talented young Mexican ballet dancer who dreams of a new life with her in the United States.
Director Dag Johan Haugerud returns to the Berlinale for the second year in a row with his film Drömmar, which is the third and final triptych alongside Sex and Love. In this female-centered story, a student finds that her intimate writings about a crush on her teacher ignite tension and self-reflection within her family.
Hong Sang-soo's What Does That Nature Say to You explores the dynamics at play when a young woman brings her boyfriend home to her family. Good food, good conversation, drinking, walking. We are firmly in Hong Sang-soo territory. He shows once more that there are few better directors of comedy that is at once both sweet and sour, offering deeper insights into the currents that flow through human relationships.
Hot Milk marks the directorial debut of screenwriter Rebecca Lankovitz, who previously wrote screenplays for Ida, Disobedience, and She Said. Lankovitz adapts Deborah Levy's novel about tensions boiling over when an English mother and daughter go on a European seaside holiday. Fiona Shaw and Vicky Krieps co-star alongside luminous lead Emma Mackey. British electronic musician Matthew Herbert contributes the score.
If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is the sophomore feature of American director Mary Bronstein. With her life crashing down around her, Rose Byrne's Linda attempts to navigate her child's mysterious illness, her missing husband, and an increasingly hostile relationship with her therapist. Both brutally funny and moving, and featuring Byrne on ferocious form, Bronstein's formal approach is cleverly foregrounding Linda's fragile state of mind.
Golden Bear winner Radu Jurev returns to the Berlinale with a razor-sharp Continental 25. This is yet another work of dark comic brilliance from Jude, who here trains his laser eye on a range of issues many of us face, from the housing crisis to the rise in nationalism. Whether in scenes of long, single-take dialogue, moments of despair, or physical comedy, Esther Tampa is a powerhouse in the lead.
With El Mensaje, Argentinian filmmaker Ivan Fund delivers a road movie of great charm and deceptive simplicity. An unlikely trio of a young girl and her older guardians crisscross the countryside, sharing the girl's gift as an animal medium for people who are desperate to commune with their pets. This beautiful, light-filled feature has the support of the World Cinema Fund.
In her third feature film, Mother's Baby, Austrian director Johanna Moder delivers a stylishly eerie, yet moving genre-tinged take on motherhood. The cracks begin to show in the ever-so-happy nuclear family when 40-year-old successful conductor Julia fails to bond with her newborn child. Danish actor Claes Bang is in deliciously sinister form here.
Bruno Forzani and Hélène Catet are thankfully back at it again with this maximalist third feature, Reflet dans un diamant mort, Reflection in a Dead Diamond, which does for 60s Euro spy films what their last film did for Euro westerns. This is an inimitable combustion of sex, cinephilia, and ultraviolence that we've come to expect from Forzani and Catet.
Living the Land is the sophomore feature of Chinese filmmaker Huo Meng. In a drama of sumptuous tableaus, Meng examines the lives of 4 generations in a rural community. It's impressive, expansive, and an epic, which bears witness to the resilience and the resourcefulness of ordinary people grappling with a rapidly modernizing world.
Previous Crystal Bear winner, Katerina Gornostai, turns her eye to the lives of children and educators in wartime in her documentary Strichka Chasu, Timestamp. In a meticulously well-edited film, Timestamp eschews traditional narrative strategies but creates a strong rhythm with a mosaic-like structure. Gornostai shows us the extraordinary resilience and hope both of young people and the Ukrainian society.
Lucille Hadji Halilovic joins the Berlinale competition with the majestic La Tour de Glace, the Ice Tower. When a teenage girl runs away from a children's home in the snowy mountains, she takes refuge in a movie studio and finds herself spellbound by a Gothic production of The Snow Queen. Co-writing again with Jeff Cox, Hadji Halilovic examines the mystical allure of cinema. The starry cast includes Gaspard Noé, Auguste Diehl, and Marion Cotillard, alongside newcomer Clara Pacini.
O Ultimo Azul, The Blue Trail, is the eagerly awaited follow-up from Brazilian Gabriel Mascaro, whose Divine Love screened at Panorama in 2019. Mascaro once again finds a delectable, hyper-real film language that mixes magical and the everyday for this road movie about love, psychedelic snails, and a rebellious septuagenarian. The blue snail reminds us that we are never too old to find new meaning in life.
In Frederick Hamberleg's Was Marielle weiß, a couple are horrified when their preteen daughter, Marielle, suddenly develops a psychic ability to see and hear everything they do. A film of a cool, acerbic wit and formal precision, it confirms Hamberleg as a major new voice in German cinema and Leni Geisler as a rising new star alongside the already great Julia Jentsch and Felix Kramer.
Girls on Wire. When single mother Chan Chan kills a drug dealer who is holding her captive, the only person she can turn to is her estranged cousin, Fan Di. Filmed with tremendous energy and touching on references as diverse as wuxia films and Hong Kong action cinema, Girls on Wire is Vivian Ku's third feature as a director. It's also her second time in Berlinale competition since producing the 2014 Golden Bear winner, Black Coal, Thin Ice.
In Yunnan, we follow the story of Munir, who travels to a remote island to complete a final act. But his encounter with Valeska and her simple gestures of kindness reignite his will to live. Ukrainian-Syrian director Amir Fakhr Eldin tells this story, which is contemplative in this humanistic tale of exile, displacement, and community, with majestic visuals and an impressive cast, including the legendary Hannah Schiliger. And that is our beautiful competition, 19 films. We are so passionate about these films and can't wait to connect the filmmakers with audiences in a few weeks. But before we open to questions from you, we want to give you a few more bits of news. We're really thrilled to work with X-Film this year to take our opening night ceremony and film out to audiences outside of the borders of Berlin, to 7 German cities. The opening ceremony on the 13th of February, the Das Licht gala screening, but also the newly retooled opening ceremony, which will include the honorary Golden Bear, being given to Tilda Swinton, will be hosted and transmitted live in 7 cinemas. You can find in your press packs the details of the participating independent cinemas, but thank you so much to X-Film for helping us to reach out to audiences around Germany. Also, on the 4th of February, we'll be distributing, as we usually do, the talent and filmmaker attending lists. We always invite director and key cast, and we expect a very good turnout, but we have a few names to share today. I'll share that we're really looking forward to being joined by Chloe Sevigny, Rebecca Hall, Nicolette Krebitz, Lars Eidinger.
Ben Whishaw, Nina Hoss, Trine Dierholm, and Jessica Chastain.
Iris Sachs, Archie Madekwe, Rose Byrne, and Marion Cotillard.
So more names will be announced soon, but for now, just bear with us for a second while we change over and we will take questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think we can start with the questions. I think everybody got a press pack. If not, my colleagues are distributing it. Raise your hand if you're still missing a press pack. Looks good. Okay, so we can start with your questions. There are 2 microphones here in the hall. Please wave that we can see if you have a question. There is a question here on in the third row. Yes, microphone is coming, please. And please, could you stand up and say your name and your publication? Thank you.
Hi, it's Natalia Jo, Carta Berlin. First of all, thank you. Great program, really exciting. I've got 2 questions. One, I noticed that there is a focus on mental health topic in many films, for example, in debuts and also in their main competition. Did you notice it as well? I mean, could it be like a main, or one of the main topics, because each Berlinale sort of has some topic somehow. And the second one, more technical, I'm a big fan of London Film Festival, so thank you for running it so great for a long time. And there were several interesting initiatives there. For example, afternoon teas with filmmakers, like great interview opportunities. Are you maybe planning to introduce something like that in Berlin, also a bit informal, I would say, in comparison to what's going on in Cannes or Venice? Thank you.
Can you repeat the second part of the question? I'm so sorry.
The second part of the question, you mean...
Introducing.
Introducing some new interesting formats for press to work with filmmakers, as you had made in London, for example.
Well, the first question, I think, well, I hadn't noticed a theme, but you're absolutely right. I do see what you point out. There are quite a few films that are dealing with how individuals are coping with the world that we live in, which, quite frankly, I think lots of us probably feel like we struggle to grapple with. It is interesting. Yeah, so thanks for pointing that out. And then the second part is new formats for press. I think, well, Berlinale has something that we didn't have the luxury of having at London, which is quite a few press conferences and access for press in that way. So that's a really wonderful part of the festival. But we also this year, it's specifically for this year, and we've already announced it, and we'll be announcing the program soon. We're going to have a number of free morning events, discursive events in Hub 75, which is our anniversary hub. Maybe it will become a permanent hub, but it's a nice place for people to get together, not just the press, but public audiences, filmmakers, and industry. And I think it'll be a really interesting space for discourse as well.
Yes, there's another question, please.
Martina Hafner, newspaper BZ and Bild. How did you do the magic to get more money for the Berlinale, which was published yesterday, almost 2 million euros?
Well, yeah, I mean, we're really very, very grateful. We did know, obviously, about it before yesterday, but we're hugely grateful for this support. You all have written about it. It's been very well documented that the Berlinale has had a few years of financial challenges with rising costs. And also this year in particular, we had some challenges which have also been documented around a change in our sponsor and partner portfolio. I luckily knew that immediately when I came in and set about tackling it with a really incredibly committed and passionate and experienced team. I'm very pleased that what the team managed to achieve with bringing in some exciting new main partners this year, but also the money from the BKM and the state minister is hugely appreciated and allows us to deliver the festival with a balanced budget this year and allows us to realize the festival in the way that we want to in the 75th anniversary year. So I don't know how we did it in answer to your original question, but we're very, very grateful for the support.
Any further question? I can't see hands. Here is one, please, Mahari.
Hello, I'm Mahari Seguid, African Refugee News. First of all, congratulations to my friend from Panorama for a new place there. I would like to know, how was it difficult for you to have this post and then go on choosing the films for Panorama?
Could you repeat the question, please, again? Sorry, I didn't fully understand.
I just wanted to know how difficult it was for you in 6 months to take this job.
Oh.
And also having the Panorama in your hemisphere.
What you don't know is that Michi hasn't slept for 6 months.
Well, I'm trying to. It's very generous, thank you. Well, it has been a very interesting and also challenging year, obviously, but I'm here because of Trisha and also because of Jacqueline and all of the great colleagues here. Bartholomew Sammert, who's been really supportive in running Panorama with me together and the whole team. Otherwise, it would simply have not been possible. And it's just great to work in such an environment. That's what I can say.
Other questions? Yes.
Hi, Miranda Murray from Reuters. My question this year, so the closing ceremony is on the same day that the Germans are going to the polls, and I know Berlinale is political. Are you guys planning to acknowledge that in any way with an event or statement, or just especially with like the rise of the AfD? Is the Berlinale planning, a statement or anything?
You're right, it is at the end of the festival, it's on the audience screenings day on the Sunday. And we're not planning on marking it in any other way than just encouraging people to exercise their democratic right to go out and vote. It's really important. We wouldn't tell anyone how to vote, but I think it's important that everybody has a voice. We all believe it's important that everyone has a voice in the democratic process. But go to your films too. Do both.
I can't see any hands. Are there further questions? Yes, in the back, behind the camera, in the almost last row, please. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nazia Said from Racif 22. And in the previous years, there were focus on Ukraine because there were the war, or Iran when there were the revolution for the women. And this year, we didn't see like political focus, let's say, although it was like a year of also troubles and war in Middle East.
I think there's not one specific bigger focus, but we do have films across the sections as well. We have a film, a documentary in competition, timestamp as well, and also through our Panorama Forum and other sections. We have films from Sudan, for instance, who deal with the brittle democracy and the history of the country there. We have lots of films that deal with thoughts and memory also on exile. So I think it's well spread throughout the festival, I would say.
Definitely.
Thank you. Any further? Yes, there's another question here on the fifth or fourth row. Yes, we see you, Andreas.
Hello, Andreas Busche, Tagesspiegel. In the past years, it was very tricky for us who wanted to cover the competition to also watch encounters. I understand it's a problem of programming in this fewer and fewer cinemas, but do you try to accommodate the needs for us to try to be able to watch competition and perspectives this year?
We do. We definitely do. There's a lot of care that goes into the scheduling of the public screenings and the press screenings to try to make sure that people can maximize what they see. It is, and we also have the screenings for German press before the festival as well too, which gives you all an opportunity. Will always be a challenge. I mean, it is the nature of a big film festival that has more than 200 feature films screening in it that not everything can be covered, but I think the press team are also standing by to help press as our sales agents see the titles where you have scheduling conflicts.
There's another question here. Microphone, please. Thank you.
Hi, hello. Carlos Grau from Spain. Thank you very much for the announcements. I have two questions. The first of all is, what's happening with the Friedrichstadt Palace? Because in some years already, it's not been a venue. I know it was in renovation 2 years ago, something like that. But it's a great venue, and I don't know what the issue is. And secondly, is for Trisha Tuttle, is regarding some comments you made in the interview. You said, I think, that you had some conversations with some filmmakers that were concerned about the freedom of speech during the festival. That was an issue for making the program, for the selection for competition?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, the first question, the Friedrichstadt Palast, it's a great venue, you're right. For various operational reasons, the festival hasn't worked with the Palast in the last few years. We're not closed to doing it. It's a beautiful venue. I've come to it myself, so all conversations are open. Every single year is a new contractual relationship with the venues we work in, so it's definitely a possibility for the future. I mean, I think Berlin is very, very blessed to have incredible theatrical venues and also cinemas to work with, so we always think about the best spaces for the films and filmmakers. And the second question, the interview that you mentioned, I also talked a lot as well about solutions and how we're getting through this. So it's specifically around filmmakers. Lots of filmmakers from Arab countries have approached us as well over the last weeks, just to make sure that the festival is a space for open dialogue and discourse. Where we can, we like to have individual conversations, and we'd encourage filmmakers to come to us, to talk to us about this. But yeah, it's affected the program, I think, but not, so far, it's not been something that's kept us from being able to program the program that we want to, but outreach is really important for us.
Thank you. We have time for 2 more questions. There is Mahari, and there is second row here. Mr.
My name is Mahari. I'm here. Mrs. Tricia, I have a question for you.
I don't know.
How difficult it was when you reached the Berlinale? You know, like the Berlinale last year suffered let's say, a damage, what happened the last night of the awards. And how did you manage to, because nobody speaks about it anymore, and thanks God they're going to see the documentary is going also in the Oscars, because it was really beautiful documentary. So how was for you to start with this problem, because it was a big problem in Berlin?
It was a challenge, let's be honest. But it also, this year has been really challenging. I think it's been challenging for every festival. We're living in a world that's very divisive and divided, and discourse is not always friendly and open. And so that creates a challenging environment anyway, but also as challenging as it's been, and I mean this really honestly, it's also been really joyous and really, really pleasurable, and a real privilege to get to watch the films that we've just talked about here and work with our teams to put together a program. So I think it would be crazy for me to complain about the challenges when we have these amazing films to show to audiences.
Thank you. No.
Hello, my name is Lutz Meyer from Stern and Capital magazine. I have a question about the economical conditions of filmmaking, especially in Europe. So with all these difficulties since the end of the streaming boom, is that something you feel and you see in the films you are offered, or in the number of films you are offered, or is it so the films we saw presented here doesn't make the impression? But is that something you are seeing?
Well, so it's sort of two questions. One, we know and hear from independent producers who find it very difficult to finance films, that it is indeed a really, really tough environment for independent cinema. But I have to say that as someone who loves cinema and someone who's been working to program this festival, I don't see it in the quality of the films at all. So people are making films because they are passionate and talented and committed. I know it is hard, but it's not affecting the quality of the filmmaking, thank goodness.
Thank you very much. This is the end of the first press conference for the 75th Berlinale. We will have many more press conferences for the films during the festival. Thank you very much. And I ask the TV crews to slowly come upstairs to the stage that we prepare for individual interviews. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you.
First go backstage.